Hi, scholars. This is a new chapter in the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. One day, several months after his first adventure, Jack found another huge beanstalk, just as big as the first one he climbed. But this beanstalk was loaded with the biggest, juiciest green beans Jack had ever seen in his life. They weren't regular little beans, no. In fact, they weren't even all green. Some were yellow, some were blue, some were brown, and some were white. Some were even red. And these beans were huge. Some were so big that he could barely lift them. Jack thought about how great it would be to take these beans to the farmer's market in the village. He could sell these beans to people. They would only need to buy one bean to feed their whole family. They were so big. Jack ran to the beanstalk to start picking the beans. I'll get a few to take home to show Mother. She'll never believe me otherwise, he thought to himself. Then he stopped. He realized that the beans were so big and heavy, he would need to borrow his neighbor's cart and horse and get some help from his friends to bring them home. But Jack's problem is the beans are too big. He can't lift them on his own. He's only a little kid, right? He's going to solve his problem by getting his friend's help next door. I wonder what's going to happen next. How can I show people how big these beans are? When I try to tell them, they'll think I'm crazy. People are not going to believe that. I've never seen a bean that big. He thought for a moment and then started rummaging through his pack. Finally, he pulled out what he'd been looking for, a roll of adding machine tape from the market. I'll cut some strips of the adding machine tape to match the lengths of some of the beans. Then I can take the strips home to show everyone, and I can measure them to find out how long the beans really are. When Jack got home, he discovered that he didn't have a ruler. He looked around the house and found a box of unifix cubes and decided to use them to measure the strips of paper. So that's the tool we will use today as scholars. So Jack is going to use unifix cubes to measure the tape that he found. We don't always have to use a ruler to measure. We can use things like unifix cubes. So for example, we have to figure out in this problem which bean is the longest. So I have cubes here, and if we were at school, we would be measuring using cubes. So I'm going to guess which bean is the longest, this top one or the bottom one. So here I am. I'm guessing the first one is longest. I'm going to move my cubes using my mouse. It takes me some time. There's 4 cubes, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that one is 9 long. This one is 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move that 3, 4, 5. Oh no, I ran out of cubes. I could guess, but I also know how to make another copy. 6, and I'm going to say one more, about 7. So if the top bean is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next one is 7. So the top bean, I'm going to circle it. That is the longer bean because it's 9 unifix cubes. And this has 9 and this has 7. Question here is how much longer is the bean on top? So if I think about it, how many more cubes longer is the top one? It's going to be 2. I see here, that's 7, and we have 2 more. I also could go 9 minus 7 equals 2 and get our answer. So we can always use unifix cubes to measure. It's a different way, and you're going to be practicing that today. I love measuring in different ways, not always using a ruler.